All right, thank you so much for still being with us here on Morning at NTV. We slice the week in the middle this Wednesday, looking at an exercise and an element that's actually critical to your very existence and access to services left, right and center, especially as you're trying to pay for school fees through banking. They'll ask you to update your banking details, and one of those updates will be made reference to your national identification card, which if you don't have, then that becomes a problem. If you've lost your number and your SIM card and you have to renew it, you asked for your national ID. If you don't have it and you have the NIN, they tell you, no, you have to get the actual physical card. And you're wondering, is it the NIN or is it the card? Which one is important? Well, my guest this morning, Osborn Mushabe, spokesperson for NIRA, is here to answer those questions. But we also have to factor in the fact that Uganda's National Identification and Registration Authority had concluded its nationwide mass enrollment and ID renewal exercise that had been running from May 2025 all the way into February 2026. The project having targeted over 30 million Ugandans, including 15.8 million renewals of the expired national IDs. Those are the ones that had registered between 2015 and 2016. Now, NIRA does report that 14.3 million IDs were renewed or updated, roughly about a 90% achievement rate alongside new registration. But the deadline is long past. Questions about gaps, about logistics, about functionality, and what next still linger for many Ugandans. So Osborn is joining me this morning to answer the nitty-gritties in these questions. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And how are you?
I'm okay. I'm happy to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. So let's start off with looking at, first of all, the exercises was conducted before we went into the heavy elements of our elections because people needed their IDs. How successful was that exercise for NIRA?
Thank you. I can vividly say that the exercise was a success. We were successful because you can see we had 2 elements within this project or the exercise. The project or the exercise was called the Mass Enrollment and Renewal Exercise. Mass enrollment is where we targeted to register Ugandans who had never registered or had never gotten national IDs. Then renewal, we are renewing IDs for citizens, mainly those citizens whose IDs were about to expire or that had expired. And of course, even citizens who would like to renew their IDs even when the IDs were not about to expire. So we had a target of renewing at least IDs for 15.8 million Ugandans. So we were able to at least to register over 14.5, and that's almost 90% of the target. Then for mass enrollment, we had a target of at least registering 17.2 million Ugandans. We can vividly say that at least we didn't achieve 90%, but we were able to register very many Ugandans, and we include children. And we need to be cognizant of the fact that such statistics were set in 2022 when we came up with the idea or the notion of the mass enrollment and renewal exercise. So since 2022, we've been registering. We've been having interventions like outreaches in schools. We had what we call the mop-up exercise in November 2024. And so on. So we can basically say that close to 6 million people were registered, not basically when the mass enrollment started, exercise started, but through all these interventions.
So these 6 million are new registrations?
Yes, and we need to note that even when your child is produced this morning, you have to register him or her for national ID. So those are part of the people we'll be targeting when we talk about fresh registration.
Now, speaking on that, Osborn, could you break down for us the categories of registration?
Of registration?
Yes, of course there's the national ID registration. You've talked about the childbirth registration. There's the students registration. Yeah.
It's the same. Okay, what we can basically maybe to make it simple for an ordinary citizen or our dear viewers, we can maybe basically say that we register Ugandans of all categories, but mainly in 3 different categories. We have Ugandans who are below 16, the age of 16. We have Ugandans who are between the age of 16 and 18. We have Ugandans who are above 18. Ugandans who are mainly below the age of 16, we register them, we give them NINs, or what we call national identification numbers. Those are unique numbers assigned to every citizen in this country. It's what qualifies you to be a citizen or a Ugandan. When you're registered while still below the age of 16 and you attain the age of 16, you're supposed to come back to NIRA offices with that NIN that you are assigned to, and you are able to be registered again. We call that an update. Then, all Ugandans who are above the age of 16 qualify to get national IDs. These Ugandans who register after the age of 16 do not have to come back. They simply wait for national IDs.
Okay, so the national ID is acquired at above
after
18.
Attaining the age of 16.
After 16, they can start getting the IDs. Then what do they attain for those that are below 16? How do they get that data and keep it?
How?
They just get the number.
When we register let's say we've registered your children, and maybe they are 4 or 8 or 10 and so on. We have a national identification register. We do assign every citizen a NIN, a national identification number. So when you attain the age of 16, it's a matter of coming back to us. We check through the register or through our system or our records and so on. We shall be able to retrieve that NIN, and we shall be able to match your details. And then we are able to do what we call an update, and you're able to qualify to get a national ID. Okay.
All right. Osborn, allow me to just ask, follow-ups, because people need to understand the nitty-gritties of this registration, especially for those below 16. So if one does not have a NIN right now and they're below 16 years of age, you mentioned that it's what qualifies you to be Ugandan. Does that mean then they're not qualified to be Ugandan?
What we need to know is that citizenship, as enshrined in Article 10 of the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, is a vital element within our country. And we need to know that for you to be a citizen, we have many types of citizenship. You can't be a citizen by birth, like many of us. You can't be a citizen by naturalization. You can be a citizen by registration. Even you can even have dual citizens maybe when you go to some other countries, but we shall connote around citizenship by birth. What qualifies you to be a citizen by birth? Altogether, you may not have registered for national ID altogether, but your parents are Ugandans. Automatically you are a citizen, but what shows that you are a citizen? It's this identification. It's this registration, it's this national identification number that we are attaching to every citizen, that we will be able to prove to people that you are a citizen altogether. Not every person living in Uganda is a Ugandan. I hope you are aware of that. So the moment we register you and assign you that unique NIN, that unique number, you are able to get access services as a citizen. You are able to access a number of services. You are able to prove that you are a citizen of Uganda. Altogether?
Yes.
And then, of course, we have had even issues to do with citizenship in this registration. You would, of course, come across people who have just come to Uganda, who have not been Ugandans, who have been trying to register to be Ugandans. So that's why, even going forward, we are going to have very many sensitization arenas to make sure that we reach out to people, we reach out to all citizens, all people living in this country, to know where they fall, to know if I am to qualify to be a citizen by birth, what is needed. Why is that NIRA is not registering me? Why is that my other colleagues are being registered, or they are getting national IDs, and for me I'm being rejected? So we are going to have very many platforms to make sure we sensitize Ugandans on such issues.
Some parents and guardians have shied away from this exercise of registration, especially those below 16 years of age, asking themselves of what importance is it. So when, of course, it's largely tied to service delivery. So for those that are below age of 16, how does that affect them in terms of access to service delivery?
Thank you. Of course, we need to note that when you do not have a NIN, or if you've not registered for your national ID, you may get encumbrances, you may get hindrances when it comes to accessing even services. Like, for instance, if we are going to health, if you are going to hospitals, if you are going to education, you'll find your neighbor asking you for NINs. You'll find if your child doesn't have a NIN, you may be having cases of child trafficking. And how do you prove that this person is a child? Oh, this is my own child. And then away from education, away from health, away from tackling child trafficking. It's good to be in an identification in the national identification register, because this helps us to keep records for the country. This helps us to plan for the country, even for your own children, for them to get birth certificates, which are very vital nowadays. We always ask for NINs, for national identification numbers. So it's always better to register a child when it is still early, because we have had challenges with very many citizens who only come to register for NINs or to get NINs the moment they need services. Let's say someone is going to university, they are being asked maybe for NINs, they are being asked for birth certificates. That's when some people wake up to go out to do registration. So we do call upon all Ugandans. We would want everyone to know that national identification, registration for national IDs is very important. Even when you are below 16, where you do not get a national ID, at least make sure you have a NIN. So come, we take you through the process. Make sure you register your children. They get NINs. They be able to qualify to access all these services.
Okay, that's interesting information, and this is information that people don't readily have off their fingertips, especially for parents who struggle when they go to school and the school management is telling them, so we have to register your children for national IDs, but it's a child. At what point are they going to use the national ID? There's also another category, Osborn, of people who perhaps had registered and gotten identification cards in maybe 2020, 23, and you get to now enroll out mass enrollment and ID renewal exercise. Those people are also confused. Did their IDs also expire, or they are actually continuing on?
No, to be clear on that, we need to know that we give a 10-year period for expiry. If you registered in 2014 or 2015, automatically your ID expired in 2024 or 2025. If you got your ID in 2023, let's say that's when you registered, your ID will be expiring in 2033 altogether. Your ID expires after 10 years, maybe later on when we do make other changes. But for now, we are giving them 10 years for expiry. If your ID is expiring in 2033, it is still valid, it's still working, there is no problem. But we need to note that we would want to move on steadily as a country, and we do not want to be seen to be forcing people. But it's prudent that you come and renew your national ID. But for citizens whose IDs have already expired, honestly, what are you waiting for? Okay. This is your time to come and renew. All right. We had a case of IDs that expired in August 2024. So on 15th August 2024, the Minister of Internal Affairs issued out a statutory instrument extending validity of expired IDs. That's why even up to now we have citizens with IDs that expired last year but are still able to use them in banks, but are still able to use them to get SIM cards or to replace their SIM cards and so on, to even get passports, because we extended validity for these expired IDs. Giving a window for the process of renewing. Yes, such no Ugandan should be affected by the delay of the start of the mass enrollment and renewal exercise. Okay. But this won't be forever. If your ID has already expired, kindly come and renew. But if your ID is expiring in 2028, 2030, still you are at liberty to come and renew. It's not mandatory, but it would be prudent that you come and renew your national ID and get a new one. All right, so there's a recent report that indicates that for those that actually came and responded to the mass enrollment and renewal exercise, you do have many of those renewed IDs stuck at your offices. Why is that so? We can basically say that we are not stuck. You know, in the media, at least I've been a journalist like you, in the media, there's what we call agenda setting. The media will set the agenda, you will follow it, or you will give your own line of the story. So our own line, we can say that we are not stuck. We are not stuck, but we need to know that when we started the mass enrollment and renewal exercise in May, on 27th May, when we opened up to the public, 27th May 2025, we concentrated mainly on registrations. And of course, we had very many people turning up. The numbers were overwhelming, but which was also okay, because that was good publicity, and partnership with you in the media, because it's you that helped us to rally around all Ugandans to come for registration. So we did not start issuance of national IDs in June or in May. We started issuance of national IDs later on in September and in October, altogether. And of course, we need to note that so far we have given out at least 2.5 million IDs for the new IDs that were renewed. At least we have gotten 2.5 million Ugandans coming up to take up the new IDs from October. We still have 5 million IDs that have not yet been issued out, that are within our district offices. But we are already embarking on a new initiative to make sure that we give them out altogether. And with these 5 million national IDs, we need to note the issue of timing. When we started in October, from October to Feb, can we basically see that especially like December, November, students were breaking off, they were going into holidays. We had elections coming in. Like basically in January, we've worked for a few days like out in the parishes, because we had to observe the electoral days. It's a right for every Ugandan to vote. We are also citizens, and this is a government entity, and so on and so on. But we believe that now that the electioneering is done and the electoral process is done now, we believe Ugandans are going to turn up en masse and get their national ID.
Is that to say that now, at any given time, a Ugandan can go and actually pick up their renewed ID?
Yes, please.
Okay, it doesn't need to
in
have
all the
a period.
146 districts across the country.
Okay.
So any time, you can turn up at the NIRA office, check in, giving your particulars, especially the NIN or the application ID. We'll be able to check for you and give you a national ID. All
right, so on that note, I know that you're having a continuation of this mass enrollment that is still ongoing. Please talk to us about that.
We have to note that the mass, when you say mass, of course it is en masse, meaning we are going viral countrywide and so on. The exercise has ended. The mass enrollment and renewal exercise has ended. But NIRA has not closed. We are continuing. We are still registering. We are still renewing national IDs. We are still issuing out national IDs. So we can only tell Ugandans that we have reverted to our normal services. We have only come out of the parishes. We've only come out of the sub-counties. So we are basically now at NIRA offices countrywide in the districts. If you are in Masaka, this implies that we are not coming to Chanamkaka altogether. We are not coming to Nabugabo. We are basically in Masaka NIRA office. So when you need NIRA services, kindly reach out to
the district office.
To the district offices. If you are in Mbarara, we are not coming to Nyakayo, we are not coming to Kachika, we are not coming to Kakoba. We are at NIRA offices from now onwards. And all services are still available. You can come and renew your national ID. You can come and register. You can come and pick your national ID altogether. My only question to our dear citizens is, like I've told you, I've always had encumbrances or hardships with Ugandans. The day he wants to use that national ID is the day he wants to register, and it's the day he wants the national ID to be processed, to be produced and issued to him. That's very day altogether. To which
then they have to, cough an extra amount of money for that service to be expressed.
Of course, it's we have not yet actually opened up that platform, but we are national IDs, of course, are free, but we would want you to be organized to take a time and register and have these national IDs in place. That when you have it, you can easily get whatever you would want to.
So Osborn, in terms of timelines between registration and acquiring or issuance of that ID, what's the time frame there?
We can basically say that we've been taking close to 2 or 3 months. That has been the timeline, but we look forward to reducing on that time frame to make sure that people can easily get IDs within a short period of time.
So there's and people just need to understand that there's already existing technologies. You go to a bank and you can easily, you go in for an ATM card and you walk out with an ATM card. Why is that not possible through NIRA?
That is not possible through NIRA. Like you've said, even driving permits, they are taking a short period of time. Even banks, yes, you can take a short period of time. But where is the gist? It is simple. NIRA has to do the primary work. NIRA has to do the primary work. Go to the driving permit, go to get your driving permit, and if the NIRA system is off, and tell me if you'll be able to get the driving permit in that day, in one day. Tell me if you'll be able to get a passport within a short period of time if the NIRA system is off. Tell me if the banks will be able to work on you if the NIRA system is off. They are all relying on NIRA data, and NIRA has to do all this nitty-gritty. NIRA has to go on. NIRA has to find out. NIRA has to verify if you're a citizen. NIRA has to correlate the information you give us. Does it match with your parents? Because it's through your lineage that you become a citizen. So by doing with all this due diligence, NIRA cannot give you a national ID within a day altogether. Because you know that there will be misinformation, there will be duplication. You'll find the information citizens are giving maybe are not matching their parents and so on. So NIRA has to do all this due diligence, and there is a process. From the, for instance, let me take you through the process. If let's say you are a citizen who is above 18, you've never registered for a national ID, you will get a form from NIRA. You fill it, you get stamped authorization from the chairperson, LC1 or endorsement. You go to the GISO at the sub-county, you get the DISO at the district altogether. After that, you attach photocopies of your parents' IDs. You come for registration. Are you seeing that process already? After that, the NIRA registrar at the district, according to Section 60 of the Registration of Persons Act, where we drive our mandate, has to correlate, has to make sure that he verifies, to make sure that he's registering a citizen. Mm-hmm. After registration, your data comes to our data processing department, or the people, or the IT department, and so on. They have to verify the information you are giving us. If you have never registered, or if you are giving us the right information, if the people you are attaching yourself to are actually related to you, if this is your real place, or if it's your place of birth, where is the evidence, or what, and so on and so on. Have you ever used these names before? Are you trying to duplicate? Are you trying to misinform us? Something like that. After that, the national ID is produced altogether to go through quality assurance, through checks and so on. And then the ID is dispatched to the district where you registered from. And then you're able to get your national ID. Can you convince me that you can do all this in one day? All right, so it can't be done. So the moment we rush and we do not give clean data, we shall be doing a disservice to the country. That's why NIRA takes some time. All right, to make sure that we give you clean data, and that's why we are making it easy for all these other agencies. Osborn, so that is in reference to new registrations. There's already existing data for people who have been holding national identification cards, and they're just renewing them. So you already have that data. Yes. Why does it have to take the same period of waiting time? For renewal, it is taking a short period of time. Only that because of the exercise and the numbers we've been having, we have not been able to give IDs in a week or in 3 days. But nowadays, for renewed IDs, the time frame is actually simpler compared to the old system and so on. Because we already have the data. Yeah. It's a matter of renewal, and we are only you'll find someone changing just maybe the place of residence, and the rest are. So a person who need to go through the mass exercise and wants to do, the renewal, what's the process like for them? It is simple, like we've been doing in Renewal. You simply come to our district offices. What we have only changed is retrieving our kits and computers and so on from the parishes and sub-counties, and we are now at the district. But you simply, if you have that old national ID, simply come with it. Yeah. If you do not have it and maybe you lost it, come with a police data. If you have a photocopy, we can still look at how we can help you as a Ugandan. That is simply for renewal, and you'll be good to go. There is no hardship, there is no lengthy process, because we want to make everything simpler for the citizens. Okay. Because this government is here to serve the citizens. This country belongs to all of us, so we don't want anyone to suffer while accessing services from government. Some citizens are also granted because they registered from point X, and now when they went to get their IDs from that point, they were told, no, you have to pick it up from another point. Why is that a mismatch? I can say that mismatch came in, it was oversight. We can say it was oversight, but when we were starting, okay, initially within NIRA, we have been giving out national IDs based on the place of enrollment. We have districts, we have offices in 146 districts. And of course, you add Kampala metropolitan areas like Kampala here and Wakiso, where we have offices in almost every division, like Kampala, every division, Kawempe, Makindye, Kampala Central, Vaga, Nakawa, we have offices. And then the main headquarters in Kororo. Wakiso, we have offices in Entebbe, we have offices in Wakiso, we have offices in Chira, Kasangat, and so on. But for other districts across the country, it's one office per district. What we can basically say, if someone, initially, if you would register from Mpigi or Butambara, let's say, we would take your ID to Butambara or Mpigi where you registered from, altogether. But going forward into this mass enrollment and renewal exercise, we thought we would make it simple for Ugandans to pick IDs from their places of residence. Altogether, if let's say I'm Osborn Mushabe from Mitoma or Mbarara, and I have registered from Kampala, we would assume that maybe you could have been on a holiday, or you could have maybe traveled, and so on, and registered from any NIRA service point. But what is your place of residence? You may be working here in Kampala City.
So you send it to Mitoma.
You may be working in Kampala City, but residing in, let's say, in Chira, Namugongo, and so on. So why should we put your national ID at Kampala Central? So at the beginning, we thought it would be easier, or would make it easy for Ugandans to send IDs to their places of residence. But after some time, because we rely on feedback and so on, we're able to change. So for Ugandans who registered in May and June, many of them, the IDs were sent to their places of residence. But after that, after the first week of June, we reverted to our normal systems. We send IDs to their places of enrollment, where you register from.
All right.
Like
so,
for instance,
so if people registered, because we had a registration point here at Serena, so if people registered here at Serena, you would be sending those IDs
to NIRA Kampala Central Office. We are not sending them to NTV. We do not have an office at NTV. We have an office at the Kampala Central NIRA office altogether. So all of you would come to the nearest NIRA office within the area where you registered from. So that will be NIRA Kampala Central.
Okay.
At Rumumba Avenue.
All right. Thank you for that clarity, because it's been confusing people a lot. I registered in Kampala, but because I said residence is in Mitoma, it's sent to Mitoma. And now it begs the question, do I have to travel to Mitoma, or can NIRA bring it back to Kampala and access it? There's also an issue of where exactly citizens should be collecting. I think you have addressed that. Right now, as things stand, you're saying that across the 146 districts, you do have a NIRA office there.
We have presence.
You have presence there, and then at municipal level, you also do have officers.
We do not have offices at the municipal level, because.
So for the case of Kampala.
For Kampala, we have offices in every division.
In every division.
Of Kampala.
Okay. All right. So at the end of the day, for someone who is doing the registration for the first time, and also someone who's renewing, what documentation do you require them to present?
For someone, for renewal, I've explained that if you are renewing your national ID, like for instance, now even going forward, you bring your old ID. If you do not have it, you come with a police letter. If you lost it, then if you have a photocopy still, we can see how to help you out. But mainly it would be prudent that you come with a police letter, or you come with the old national ID that we gave you. Then for citizens who have never registered, especially the children, the ones who are below the age of 16, there are basically a few things. We just need the photocopies of the national IDs of the parents to prove your lineage, to prove that you are a citizen by birth, and any other relevant document, like a birth notification if you have it. Even if you do not have it, but the parents' IDs, the photocopies, are a must, and we need to come with at least one of the parents for registration. One of the parents? It would be prudent that you come with him or her for registration. So in case I have neither parent? Guardian. Guardian. In case I don't have guardian? In case you don't have a guardian, still you have a caretaker. You have a caretaker. So for the case of a street child, what does that look like? We have a special place. We have a special process for them. All the fundings, how we register them. But for these citizens by birth, these children whose parents are still alive, who have guardians, it's prudent that you come with one of the parents or the guardians. For instance, there are even people who register children who register from schools. Okay, you will not tell your
so Osborn, we're just doing scenario situation in here. My guardian is of age; they're not able to come with me at the district office. How do I handle that?
At least they will be able to send they will be able to send the national IDs altogether. Okay. But at least there will be someone to come with you to sign in. Or so
a physical person to come with me is a necessity.
Yes. For instance, sometimes we even register children from schools. That's why sometimes you'll find us relying on teachers and so on.
Okay. All right. People who have already received their renewed IDs we've had some complaints of saying that it's not working for them, especially when they have to access banking services, telecom verifications, and government systems. What's your address to that?
We have to admit that we have had issues with our QR code and so on to make sure that the new IDs are readable. But we are working behind the clock, we are working around the clock to make sure that we address this. And we can assure citizens that by 31st March, by end of March, everything will be in place. You'll be able to use the new national IDs. However, we have gotten in touch with all the 103 agencies or authorities that rely on our data to make sure that citizens do not get issues with the new national IDs. Even right now, if you go to MTN, I'm sure even with your new national ID, you'll be able to. If you go to the service centers, you'll be able to replace your SIM card and so on. You'll be able to get a passport. But we want to make the process simple for every Ugandan. Not every Ugandan will be able to access the service center. Not every Ugandan will be able to move to the cities and so on. So by end of March, this will be done once and for all.
Osborn, that being said, what is most important, the NIN or the card? Because, you go for, say you've lost your SIM card and you have your NIN, and you go to a telecom service center and they tell you, no, we don't want your NIN, we want the card.
Of course, the NIN is very important. The NIN is very important, but we need to note that, okay, in the first place, I do not speak for MTN, so they know how basically they handle their business and so on, or for other telecom companies. But basically, why they ask for national IDs, yes, the NIN, of course, when they access the NIRA system with the NIN, you are able to get all the particulars and so on. I think, but with the national ID, the physical national ID can help them to correlate information, maybe what they would want to correlate, let's say to verify that this is the person we are dealing with, the person we are working on, and so on. But all that aside, we can assure citizens that by end of March, we shall be good to go. The new national IDs, you'll be able to use them everywhere you would want to go. Okay. We are working around the clock. All right,
Osborn Mushabe, thank you so much for being with us. But I know you do have a call to action for Ugandans in order to fully benefit from the services of NIRA.
Thank you. Basically, I can simply tell Ugandans that we call upon everyone to come and renew your national IDs. For those that were unable to renew during the exercise, we are still working, and NIRA is here to serve you. And for those who are unable to register their children, kindly come out and register them, get them birth certificates, make sure your child has a NIN. The NIN is very important as we are going forward. And as a citizen, it is your right to get or to have a national ID. Kindly register, kindly pick your national ID from the nearest NIRA office, most likely the office you registered from. And in case you are not sure of where your national ID is, or if you are having issues of where your national ID maybe could be, it's prudent that you move to the nearest NIRA office and you present your details, the application ID, the NIN, all that message we give you at registration. We shall be able to check, and we shall be able to tell you where your national ID is, and the process is free of charge. We didn't talk about it, but we kindly call upon citizens to desist from such negative vices. If your national ID is not yet out, be patient, it will come. You do not have to incur costs, you do not have to put in money for you to get it. It's free of charge, And all these services are being provided to you by the government. The government is here to serve you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Osborn Mushabe, spokesperson for NIRA, and you can reach out to them across their social media platforms, and also just to Google and get the toll number, which is a free toll number, and call and find out if your ID is ready. Then you can be able to access it. I believe that that's been informative so that you can take the steps in the right direction. We take a short breather. When we return, we want to focus on the education sector. We'll start with our regional correspondent, who will be giving us a sneak peek into schools reopening for the first time in the calendar year.